Welcome back to Artistic Adventures and our Blythe customization project, steampunk style. We got so much going on in this video. We're going to add some hair, correct the gaze, add some charms, put a head back together, and all sorts of fun things to learn. So here we go. In our last video, we had just finished working on the eyes, and they turned out great. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute and work on the hair. And I'm going to pull back some on the video screen. So this is the hair cap that came off of the doll that we are customizing. And I just wanted to show you a couple things about this. I'm not going to take this apart because if for some reason my plan to use this hair doesn't work, then I still have this one that I could use, which would be fun. But this cap is a product of two pieces that look like this. And this looks a little weird because these things have been cut off on this, but the way it works is there's little slots in here that these flat things fit into. And when you buy these separate, like I did this piece, they kind of, it's a little bit tricky, but you can get it in there. So that fits in there like that, and you kind of have to push it in some places. So what you would do is fit it like that, and then you want to put glue up under this edge to hold it down. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this cap because it's free of any hair, and I don't want to have to deal with pulling the hair out of this one. Now, I did show you at the beginning of this series that there are caps like this that you can order that have holes in it if you want to reroot hair, but this girl is not going to be doing any rerooting because that would make me want to kill myself. So we're gonna instead use glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on these edges, and then we're gonna start making the hair. And as usual, I'm gonna use E6000. Yay! My favorite glue. So I'm just going to try to pull this out just a little bit so I can get some glue down in there in a few places. And it's going to squish out. No question about that. So I'm just going to take what's squished out and use it in another area. Alright, so that's enough to hold down a couple of places. You could always stick some glue down into these areas if you had to. Just enough to hold it together. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And the other thing I'm going to do is rough up the surface of this because I'm going to glue it, and right now it's really slick and shiny, and the glue will stick, I think, better if it's a little bit roughed up. So I'm using one of those sanding blocks that I used when we did the face of the Blythe that's a little bit coarser. This is actually a nail block that I think I gave you the code for, coming from Amazon. You can get a whole sheet of these for hardly anything, and they work pretty good for a coarser type sanding. So I'm just trying to rough it up. No particular pattern, just trying to take the shine off. So what we're going to have to work with on this is the fact that we're going to be gluing the hair down kind of in a circular pattern all the way around it until we reach the top. So at the very top, there's going to be a place where we need to have hair coming out to cover the hair that would be showing up at the weft part. This weft part would be showing right up here. So what I'm going to do is see if that corresponds to this hole underneath. I think it does. Let's try that. I'm going to use my pointy X-Acto. I think it's about right there. I'm going to make a little hole in the top of this head. And if you've seen me make wigs, you know we've done this when we make the wig cap. We'll cut a little slit to put hair down in that we'll use to cover up the hair at the top. So this is a similar technique. And we're going to hope that we're pretty much in the center so that as we go around and around and come up to the top, this is where we end up. Alright, I think that'll be good. Have to get the rest of that plastic off. Alright, so we kind of got a little hole there. Alright, there's our hole. Goes through to the back of this. Alright, and what we're going to do is take some of this hair. I'm going to find where this starts. Oh, I think it starts right here. This is mohair, but it's a very straight mohair that I ordered in a weft. So it looks like that. And so what I want to do is just sort of fold this over. I'm going to have to cut the weft off, but I want to use that sort of as a guide to help me get all this in one sort of straight piece. So I'm just folding that over and over. I want a really good size chunk of hair to go through there. Hopefully this is going to work. Because what we'll do at the end is use this to sort of spread out. We'll spread it out from the center to cover what we've wound around the top, and you know we'll have like something that looks sort of like that if we're lucky, because this is an adventure. This is an adventure for real. Alright, so I think I'm going to stop right here. Let's hope this works. And I'm going to cut this part off. Now, so we have this hunk of hair that we got to get through that hole. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take some needle and thread. Need a little bit longer piece than that. And we're going to use this to hopefully help us get this through the hole. May have to make the hole a little bigger. Not really sure yet. Okay, get through there. There we go. Alright, so I want to get some thread going. Pretty good length. Alright, so we're going to come up out of the hole. And we're going to go back in the hole, but leave a loop on the top. I have a feeling I'm going to need a bigger hole. Alright, then we're going to put this hair through the loop. Okay, and we're going to see if we can pull it through. I don't think it's going to go. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be bigger. Alright, let's try that. I'm trying to make it as small as possible so it doesn't show through. Let's see if that's big enough. So I made it a little bit bigger. Alright, let's take the needle and thread, and we're going to go up again. And then back down. And then we're going to pull this through. And see if that will work. Okay, we're going to try this again. I'm going to try to fold this a little bit to see if that helps. Well, I'm pulling from the back. And try not to get stuck with the needle. Let's go, you can do it. Get in there. I don't think it's gonna go. Let's see if I can push it like this. Because this plastic, I mean, it's like rubbery plastic. It kind of stretches some, so. Ooh, I might have got it. Nope. Okay, so. Back to the drawing board. I'm going to try a little bit smaller piece. Oh, I got it. See, pulled through. Okay. So I just have to get the right amount of hair through the right size hole. Alright, now we can pull this back out. And what I'm going to do is spread this around and glue it to the inside. So I'm putting the glue around, and I'm putting the right good amount so I can press this down into it, and then just spreading this out to press into the glue. So a lot of it is stuck, but some of it isn't, so I'm going to put glue on top of that and press down on it. A little bit more when I do it. Over on this side. Now this is going to have to dry before we, try to do any combing or anything of the hair, so you're just going to have to let that have its time. And then we'll start working on the top. So we have the hair glued down underneath, and I've used a pipe cleaner to hold this up so I don't get glue on it while I'm gluing the rest of this. And then the process is pretty simple. We're just gonna keep putting this glue around until we fill up the head, and I just do this a little at a time so I can hold it down. I'm starting in the back of the head. Let me get this untangled a little bit. Okay. So this glue holds pretty good. I mean, it dries pretty fast, so you just kind of have to hold it down for a minute or two and then keep on going. Can't wait to see how this hair turns out. For some reason I just really think it's very steampunky. I know it almost kind of looks like old hair, but like grayish, but it's got a little bit of brown in it, so could have been a good witch hair too, I guess. But it does have that hint of brown that I like, so we're going with steampunk. If I have enough left, maybe I will do a little witch doll. You never know. Never know here on a, artistic adventures. It's always something new. Alright, and I'm going to have to move on to a new tube. Should have punctured these before I started. But that's okay. Can get it. So when you come back to this part where you started, you're just going to go up over it to start a new row, like that. You want to put these really close together because this hair weft is pretty thin, so if it was thicker you could spread it out. But I think it'll look better really close together, so just right on top of the other weft, glue down the next row. This is pretty easy down at the bottom where it's a bit bigger around. When you get up here, it's a little harder to get the weft to conform to the tighter circle, but you just have to hold it down as you're doing it, and it works pretty good. And make sure you go back and press this down as you go along. So you see, it's just a continuous circle. You just keep going around and around. If you feel it's not sticking, just wait for a minute and hold it. And then sometimes I'll see it sort of popping up, and I'll go back in and just press it down and hold it for a minute. If you wanted to use the doll hair that it came with, that's perfectly fine. I'm just really showing you this part in case you want to change the doll's hair, to show you there are options. And if you have an extreme amount of time and patience and you want to reroute, you know, that's another option. You could even, you know, take the hair out of the scalp that came with it and pull the hair out to reuse it, you know. I don't want to do that because I might end up using that head of hair. So I'm going to do the rest of this off camera until I get closer to the top, just because I'm going to have to spend some time holding this down for a little bit, and we'll show you how to finish this up when we get up here. Okay, we're almost up to the top. You can see just a little bit of the skin color left, and just trying to hold this down to make sure that it's getting glued, because it is a little harder as you get closer to the top. And I'm doing smaller sections because as you bend it, it kind of wants to not to sort of go off and not be in a circle. So just hold that down for a minute. Put a little bit more right here. So I may make another round. Still a little bit of skin showing, so just wanted to show you how far we are at this point, and then I'll come back when I've gone all the way around. So we've gotten all the way up to the top, and this is how you want it to be, where the weft goes right up to that part that we stuck through. So it's really close to it. So I'm going to set this aside so that the glue completely dries on the hair, and we're going to work a little bit more on the eye mechanism. So one of the things that you can do when you customize a doll is to add 2 pulls instead of the one. The one pull will just make the eyelids close, change the eyes to the next position, and then back open. With the 2 pulls, you'll be able to position the doll to have the eyelids stay closed. And that's just nice because sometimes you want to have them closed. They want to get a little sleep. Or just to show off the pretty design that you've painted on the eyelets. So, to do that, we're going to add 2 strings. And one you're going to put up here. There's a little hole. This is where the spring was that we took off. You're going to just put this through there, and then you're going to tie a knot. And then you're going to tie another knot so that it's big enough that it won't pull through. And then I always put a little dab of E6000 on to set it. This is clogged up because I've had it open doing that wig, the hair. Whoa. Okay. Put a little dab of E6000. Just a little bit. Just enough to set it so that your knot won't come loose. Alright. And you pull it through, and then you can trim the excess part. Okay? So that's the first one. Now the next one is where the original one came through, and it's a little bit harder to get to. I'm going to zoom in on this and actually get it in focus. There we go. Alright, so you can see the hole right there. Comes out right there. Now, the hard part is that you got to go through here, and this is a little harder than if you had to go through there. If you don't go through here, it's not going to make the eyes click right. So, I've got 2 different colors of thread. One's brown and one's black. They kind of look the same, I guess. We'll see if this will go through without having to do anything. Sometimes I have to heat it a little bit to get it stiff. Sometimes I don't. Oh, sometimes I drop it. I drop everything on the floor. Oh. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so this one, what happens is the ends get a little frayed after just a second. I'm going to try the other end before I heat this, just to make sure. That it's not going to go through. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to just use my little torch because I want to stiffen this up a little bit. And this is, you know, it's like a plasticky material. It's going to melt. It doesn't really burn. Alright. Let's see if that worked. Sometimes I have to use my pointy tool. Whoop. Get the glue off of it. I'm just trying to poke it through a little bit. I can get it started. Usually it'll go right on through. If you could only go the other way, it would be so much easier. I think I see it coming. I think it's coming. Yay! Come on, little thread. You can do it. It's partially through. There we go. All right. Phew. All right. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to knot it a couple of times. Put a little dab of glue. But let me find it. Where did it go? There it goes. And then we can cut off the excess. Alright, so to recap, we have string through here and the string through here. Okay, we've got the eyelashes on, we've got that done. So the only thing left is to put it into the face. Alright, so we take our face. Remember that the eyelashes go at the top, and then all we have to do is stick the poles on either side into this holes. And make sure I got my strings coming out the right way. Here we go, this way. Okay, so we've popped it back in. Alright, now, there's one other piece we need to think about, and that is that little flipperdoodle that we took out in the beginning. If you remember, I said make sure you keep it, because you'll lose it. Alright, so I put it in here, along with some of the screws. Now what we want to do with this is shorten it a little bit. And the reason is, this is what catches on these little gears right here. Zoom in so you can really see this. Okay, so you see the gears? They're kind of notched in there. This catches on those, and that's what flips the eye. Alright, and it holds it in a position. So if we shorten this a little bit, it allows the eye to be a little bit further up instead of down. That makes sense. So you want to cut off a tiny little portion of this. And I'm talking like that. Really small amount. So I'm going to cut that off with my X-Acto. If you cut too much, this is ruined and it won't work. You can always cut more, but you can't add to it. Okay. Now always kind of bevel the end a little bit. Hope I didn't cut too much. Because that helps it catch. Alright, we're going to put this on and try it out. So I need the screw for that. It's this one. Alright, and this, if you'll see, has an indentation in the back. That's what goes down. The flat part goes up. And you're going to put it on this post right here. Just like that. Let me get the screw going. Then I'm going to get my little electric screwdriver. A little bit more. Alright. Now you can see how that catches those gears. And as it turns, you'll hear that click. That's what that is. That thing going past the gear. Alright, now let's check the position of the eyes and see if it's where we want it. So that's pretty good. It's allowing them to be a lot further up than they were. And then you can see how that looks with it like that. Oh, it's looking so cute. Alright, now, the next thing we're going to do is put the whole head back together. So, to do that, we need the back plate, which is here, that we had already signed and everything, and we sprayed it with Mr. Super Clear along with the front. We need the body, because the body goes into this little notch right there. And we need the hair. So, hoping this is dry, I'm going to dig through all this hair and get to the plastic. So I haven't decided if she's going to have bangs or not yet. We'll do that later when we are styling her. But for now, we're just going to get the head on. Put back together. Alright, now this is where you have to kind of coordinate all these pieces, and you only have two hands. This part goes to the front, because it's this screw right here that it's going to go on. So we're just going to slide that in, because we didn't loosen it all the way. We just loosened it enough to get this off. So we're going to try to get that back on there. And the other thing you have to do is try to keep the hair out of the... I'm going to trim some of this. This is the ends of, you know, when they do the weft, there's going to be one short part where they fold it over to sew it. I'm going to try to get rid of this because it's going to hurt us trying to get this plastic back together. Get it out of the way. Doesn't hurt anything. It's just something that's going to stick into the plastic that we're trying to push together, and these pieces all kind of have a zero tolerance for any gap. They were very tightly fit together. So anything sticking in between them is going to cause problems. And this is the most exciting part because you're kind of going to get to see, you know, everything you've done all put together. I mean, you've seen the eyes separate, you've seen the face separate, you've seen the hair separate. So now we're kind of going to get that chance to see her all put back together. And that's when she really comes alive. It's the most exciting part. Okay, so we got that trimmed up pretty good. Might still have a few pieces here and there. Okay, so we're going to put this on the screw and line up the top part. I'm going to try to use my regular screwdriver to tighten that up. That's the hardest screw to get to in this whole thing. That's why I leave it in. Alright, got that pretty tight. Now, when you do these strings, the way this is traditionally done, the added string that you put at the top comes out this hole. This is the original string hole, and we'll put the original string through that, or where it came, you know, the one that was originally pulling the eyes open and shut. So you got to string these through before we close her up. Alright, so you got the new string coming through there, old string coming through there. Alright. And now we got to put the body in. And this is where we squeeze it together. If everything works the way it should. So I find pressing right here as you push it helps get it back together. Oh, we did it. We did it. We did it. All right, now we've got the back screws to put in. Is everybody excited? Getting ready to turn her around. Because we have to style our hair and everything, so just keep that in mind. Alright. And one last screw up here. Yay! Alright, so here's where we are so far. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Now the thing I want to do next is just to make sure that the eye mechanisms are all working correctly before we put charms and beads on and all that. Alright, so that closes the eye and that opens it. And there we have our steampunk eyes. Pull it again. See, this way you can leave the eyes shut. Before they would always spring back open. And there we have those eyes. Then we have the center eyes. And back to the side eyes. Alright, so that works great. So I'm going to go ahead and take this hair down. And I think everything is dry. And we'll make sure that we have covered up all of the weft. Okay, so we've got our pipe cleaner off. And now what we want to do with this part is spread it out to cover up the wefts that are up here. The sewing. So we just try to find the middle and spread it around in a circle. All the way around. And then let's see, just take a comb and comb it down. We can also put a little heat on this a little later to make this stay down, pressed down. But this is what we wanted. We wanted to have this part in the middle that looks like that. That covers everything up. And that worked really well. Okay, so the next video we're going to start working on her clothes. She's going to have a hat, a top hat of course. Maybe some goggles. Right now she looks like it from the Addams Family, but you know, we have options with her hair. We can either come up with an updo where we, you know, pull it up and do something with it. We could cut some bangs. It's all going to work out. But there she is so far, and I love how she's looking. And pretty soon she'll have her steampunk outfit. Yay! One last thing before we wrap up this video. We need to put some charms on these. And this is another thing that's pretty cool about the custom Blythes. They always have lots of nice little beads and charms on the pull strings. And I like to include something that reflects the theme of the doll or whatever. And might, you know, change these later. But right now what I came up with was these two steam engines because, you know, steampunk. So she's going to have these on the ends of the charms and then just some bead as beadwork. So the thing you have to do with these is get beads that have pretty big holes. Just like a regular bead's not going to work. So I'm going to start with, and the other thing is you probably want to heat these too, so it makes them go through a whole lot easier. Kind of stiffens them up a little bit. Keeps it from fraying as you're working on it. that's kind of a weird thing. Maybe I'll do this. Okay, that went through. So we got that. And let's see, I have these really pretty beads that have a really huge hole. So I'll put one of those. Maybe one of these spacers. It has jewels on it. And if I can get one of these black beads on it, that would be good. Their holes are fairly large. There we go. Yeah, that worked. And then maybe one of these. Woo! And another clear bead. That's not cooperating. Why are you not cooperating? Try it from the other side. Sometimes that works. It's just being very ornery. So that one went right through. And see if I can get another black bead on to be the ones closest to the end. Yes, that looks good. I'm going to tie a little knot to separate this from the charm. And another knot. I'm going to put our steam engine on. If we can get it through that hole. Well, I'll do this one because it's got a bigger hole, and then I'll work with the other one. So I'm just going to tie a knot to hold this on. There, get our little choo-choo on. And I'm going to put some heat on this to melt it into place so it won't come loose. And then we can trim off the excess. Alright, so that's what our charm for that side looks like. So I'm going to put the other charm on off camera and I'll be right back. Alright, so we finished the charms. Now I always make one a little bit longer than the other one just so it's easier to tell once you figure out, oh, the long one does this, then you kind of know which one to reach for. Or you have, you use different colors or whatever. That's just something that I think helps you to know which way to, pull, or which way you want to have the eyes closed or open or whatever. So anyway, we've got our doll. We've got the charms, we got the head back on, we got the hair on. She's looking really cute. So we're going to start with a costume next week and give her that true steampunk look, and we'll finish up styling the hair. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps. And also, as always, please subscribe. I don't want you to miss a thing, and we got so much more to go. Bye.